Why is it so important to track your miles if you're going to be doing any sort of gig work like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Lyft, Uber, all that stuff? So, in order to illustrate this properly, we're going to use four different scenarios. The first scenario is someone who is not doing gig work yet. They have a W-2 job and they're making $35,000 a year, but they're considering doing gig work, but they're not doing it yet. Okay. So they're our baseline scenario. Scenario number two, this person still has that same job. They make $35,000 a year and they do gig work and they made $10,000, but this person did not track their miles. Scenario number three, same person, $35,000 a year, make $10,000 from gig work, but they did track their miles. They made $1.50 for every mile that they drove. So that means they tracked 6,667 miles. And then scenario number four, we have someone who makes, again, $35,000 from their job. They made $10,000 from gig work, but this person only made $1 for every mile that they drive. So they logged 10,000 tax deductible miles. Okay, so I added a couple more lines to show the deduction, right? So in scenario number three, where they drove 6,600 miles, their tax deduction was $4,600. So they only have $5,300 of taxable self-employment income. And in scenario number four, where they drove 10,000 miles, their deduction was $7,000. So they only had $3,000 in taxable self-employment income. And the taxes that I calculated down here, these are all coming from a calculator called Keeper Tax. So I use this to get the numbers for each situation. Okay. So in scenario number one, where they did not do any gig work, this person owed a total of $4,800 in taxes. Okay. Obviously, their employer withheld taxes and they probably got a refund and whatever. Okay. Now, scenario number two, where they did not track their miles and they were working for DoorDash, this person would have owed $7,100 in taxes. Okay. Scenario number three, where the person made $1.50 per mile and they tracked their miles, this person would only owe $6,000 in taxes. And in scenario number four, where they made $1 for every mile that they drive, this person would owe $5,500 in taxes. So as you can see here, the person who did not track their miles on the $10,000 that they made, they ended up paying an extra $2,300 in taxes. Okay. Now, the two people that did track their miles, they ended up paying significantly less additional money in taxes. This person only paid $1,200 in taxes on that $10,000 that they made. And this person right here only paid $700 on that $10,000 that they made. So in that first situation where they just had a job, obviously the employer withheld taxes from them, so that person gets a refund at the end of the year. But in the situation where they were driving but didn't track their miles, that person, even though their employer withheld taxes, they still ended up owing money at the end of the year. And then the guy who was making $1.50 per mile, he ended up paying an extra $140 in taxes, federal taxes, and got an $80 California tax refund. And then the guy who drove a lot of miles to make the $10,000, he ended up still getting a refund because he had so little taxable income from DoorDash that he was still able to get a refund. Keep in mind, again, these are just very simple scenarios. Your situation is going to be different, but what doesn't change is if you take the standard mileage deduction, that's 70 cents per mile that you won't have to pay taxes on. If you drive a mile, that's 70 cents that you're not paying taxes on. And also, I'm not an accountant. I'm just a delivery driver. So, consult with your tax professional.